Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Swallowed Star based on novel. So let's start. Okay. We'll follow this plan. The Universe Masters from the Freedom Alliance all agreed to the plan. They had talked about it before, and this plan was based on the common interests of all the Universe Masters in the Freedom Alliance. Certainly, they wouldn't object to it. After all, an alliance formed upon common interests was the most stable. In a beautiful palace on an independent dimension of the virtual universe, Luo Feng, Primal Chaos City Leader, Darkness Master, and Peng Gong Master were looking at the 6 Universe Masters sitting opposite to them, waiting for an answer. "The Universe Masters from our alliance," said an 8-armed man, who was wearing silver armor with a pair of silver horns. His eyes gleamed with golden light. "They'll be represented by us." Huh? The 4 human representatives were shocked. Shahua Island Leader, who was one of the 6 representatives, was dazed. He turned around and looked at the leaders from other divisions. "That's right. Yes, Lightwalker Master will represent us." Agreed. Shahua Island Leader was upset. His original body immediately transmitted his voice to ask the Universe Masters from his division. Actually, he noticed that the 400-some Universe Masters were transmitting their voices with each other using their godly power, as he could sense their blurry godly power. However, those Universe Masters didn't transmit their voices to him, and besides, transmitting voices using godly power was fast, so they reached a consensus in a few seconds. Although he was confused, he didn't raise any more questions. Yet Lightwalker Master told the humans that he would be in charge. "Brother Shahua, we all agree that Lightwalker Master will represent us." Island Leader: "Don't blame us, Shahua. It has everything to do with our interests. We'll explain everything to you after the negotiation." Shahua Master was deeply upset after hearing what his Universe Masters said. However, he couldn't do anything about it. After all, those Universe Masters were the reason for his position in the Freedom Alliance, and they were closest to him. He couldn't be tyrannical to Universe Masters, instead, he had to treat them as brothers. The 4 human Universe Masters looked at each other and noticed that the other 5 leaders, including Shahua Island Leader, didn't object. It seemed that the Freedom Alliance was indeed represented by Lightwalker Master. Lightwalker Master. Primal Chaos City Leader smiled. "Please. We've already read the inheritance information you gave us." Lightwalker Master glanced with his golden eyes, and his voice sounded cold. "Unfortunately, we're not satisfied." Huh? Primal Chaos City Leader, Luo Feng, Darkness Master, and Peng Gong Master were all shocked. Not satisfied? Luo Feng frowned. This was the information he himself had summarized, and it was definitely tempting to all the powers from all 3 universe eras. How could they not be satisfied? "What do you mean, Lightwalker Master?" Primal Chaos City Leader asked, frowning. "The inheritance information you gave us is not worth the risk." Lightwalker Master's golden eyes were cold. "If you want my alliance to help you, be more sincere. Give us more information. More comprehensive information." More comprehensive. The 4 human great beings made eye contact with each other, and started to converse secretly. Darkness Master transmitted his voice. "The Freedom Alliance is indeed greedy. They are certain that we need their help, so they are more demanding." "That's right," said Peng Gong, transmitting his voice. "There will be no end to their greed. If we give them more detailed inheritance information, they'll think we have more, and they'll keep asking for more." "Luo Feng," said Primal Chaos City Leader, transmitted his voice. "Do you think we've given them enough information?" "Yes," said Luo Feng. "Even if we give them more, they'll ask us for more," said Darkness, and Peng Gong agreed as well. The humans looked at the 6 leaders from Freedom Alliance. Primal Chaos City Leader said, "This is the most detailed information we humans can give to you. If you want more detailed information, sorry. We don't have that. If your alliance wants to help us, we'll give you the other half of the inheritance after the war." Lightwalker Master frowned. Are you sure you don't have more? No more. Primal Chaos City leader shook his head. Luo Feng looked at them, frowning. It was indeed disappointing that the Freedom Alliance would try to exploit them at such a crucial moment. If that's the case. Lightwalker Master turned his head and looked at the other leaders, who nodded. Lightwalker Master stood up, followed by the other 4 leaders and Shahua Island leader. The information you gave us is too simple for us to risk it for you. Sorry. Lightwalker Master stood up and said coldly, let's go. They all disappeared and left the virtual universe, including the other universe masters from the Freedom Alliance outside the palace, who had also been listening to the negotiation. Don't they want the remaining part of the inheritance? Pengong Master stood up abruptly and looked confused. Why? Darkness Master found it hard to believe. Luo Feng and Primal Chaos City leader stood up as well. Something happened. Primal Chaos City leader frowned. Why would they just leave like this? After all, they've only got the former part of the information, and some of the most important points are in the latter part. Don't they want to be Universe Supreme Masters? Why did they just give up like that? Darkness Master looked at Shahua Island leader. What happened, Shahua? Shahua, this isn't what we talked about, Luo Feng added. Shahua Island leader was the only one left in the palace, and he didn't look well. He said, just wait for a moment. I'll tell you what happened later. In the Supreme True Treasure Palace, belonging to Shahua Island leader. Shahua Island leader looked at the Universe Masters present. They were all Universe Masters he was close to, and they were the reason he had the right to be in the Freedom Alliance. What happened, everyone? Shahua, a giant, green rock being. We're indeed friends, but all of us want to be powerful. When we become more powerful, we'll have a higher status in the original universe, especially if we can become Universe Supreme Masters, and have our own miniature universes. Our races will have a place to live. Don't blame us. What exactly happened? Yelled Shahua Island leader. This is what happened, said a seaweed-like plant life form. His voice echoed in the surrounding space. Both humans and the United Forces Alliance tried to draw us to their sides. As soon as there was a dispute among the Universe Masters in our alliance, Juhua True God from Purple Moon Holy Land contacted Lightwalker Master. Purple Moon Ancestor is willing to provide us with inheritance information from the ancient civilization on how to become Universe Supreme Masters from Universe Masters. They'll provide detailed information to us, and they said if the information the humans gave us was better, we could still help the humans. Otherwise, they require us to join the United Forces Alliance and attack the humans, especially that Luo Feng. That's what happened. Lightwalker Master is the middleman between Purple Moon Holy Land and us. He contacted us one by one and gave us the inheritance information. We've already got most of the inheritance information, and it's 10 times more detailed than the information the humans gave us. What the humans gave us is nothing compared to that. Tell us, Shahua, what should we do? Tell us. They all looked at Shahua Island leader. Shahua Island Master squeezed a smile out of his face, a helpless smile. I can't blame anyone, he said. Shahua Island leader sighed. He had planned to get the inheritance information on how to reach the limit of a Universe Supreme Master for himself, but he hadn't expected Purple Moon Holy Land to meddle. Speaking of being mysterious, the Eastern Emperor Holy Land and Purple Moon Holy Land were, indeed, mysterious, and nobody knew what kind of ancient inheritance they had received. It was natural for them to give out some of the inheritance. We want survival and power more than anything. The inheritance information given by Purple Moon Holy Land is wonderful. Plus, Purple Moon Holy Land won't fight for territories against us in the future, yet if the humans become stronger, it will be a threat to us. Besides, we'll be at an advantage if we join the United Forces Alliance. No matter what, the present, the future, and the benefits we receive, we made the right choice. I think you can understand, Shahua. All the Universe Masters looked at Shahua Island leader. Shahua Island leader sighed. Did Purple Moon Holy Land mention me? We mentioned you before, said the plant life form. However, Purple Moon Holy Land didn't want to give the inheritance information on how to become Limit Universe Supreme Masters, so we didn't tell you that in case something happened. Shahua Island leader forced another smile. It seems you already knew about it. This was one of our plans, answered the plant life form. For what it's worth, our plan is for the common interests of all the Universe Masters in the Freedom Alliance. In the Palace of the Virtual Universe, Luo Feng, Pengong Master, Darkness Master, and Primal Chaos City Leader were still baffled. If they still want the inheritance information, they won't give up, said Primal Chaos City Leader. The Freedom Alliance was formed not only to tackle this difficult situation, but also to gain enough power to reap benefits. Don't they want to become Universe Supreme Masters? Don't they want to get inheritance information? That's right. Luo Feng and the other three were waiting. Shahua Island leader sat there with his eyes closed for a long time before he opened them again. Luo Feng and the other three were shocked. They were powerful enough to infer something from the expression on Shahua Island leader's face. He looked helpless now. The Freedom Alliance decided to join the United Forces Alliance. Shahua Island shocked them all with his first sentence. Luo Feng and the other four looked forlorn, as they knew things would now become difficult for them. Impossible, yelled Luo Feng. It's impossible that they gave up inheritance information. What if they already have information that is 10 times more detailed? Shahua Island leader looked at Luo Feng. What? Luo Feng was dazed. 10 times. In Universe Ocean, the first Universe Era, the second Universe Era, and the original Universe Era, none of the powers could get such detailed information except the humans. Perhaps only the two Holy Lands had it. There was the possibility that the Holy Lands had meddled in the situation. However, the two Holy Lands were outside the power struggle, and they didn't have any conflicts with humans. Why would they even meddle? It's Purple Moon Holy Land. Shahua Island leader sighed. Purple Moon Holy Land gave the Freedom Alliance information in exchange for dealing with the humans. Especially you, Luo Feng. Me? Luo Feng opened his eyes wide while Primal Chaos City Leader, Darkness Master, and Pengong Master looked at Luo Feng. Purple Moon Holy Land. Luo Feng found it hard to believe. Thoughts flooded Luo Feng's mind, and he couldn't think straight. Purple Moon Holy Land. He hadn't been in Universe Ocean for a long time, and the only enemy he had made was the Divine Eye clan, yet the two Holy Lands weren't his enemies. They must have had some unpleasant encounters with Eastern Emperor Holy Land. However, Purple Moon Holy Land fought for the inheritance, just like all the other powers in Universe Ocean, but they didn't try their best. Eastern Emperor occupied the most important and the most central area, trying to take Boat of Mausoleum by force. On the other hand, powers like Purple Moon Holy Land all waited outside, and they didn't contact Luo Feng during the fight. Neither did they try to make a deal with him. They didn't try to negotiate with me, and it's been outside the power struggle all the time. Why did they? Luo Feng immediately held grudges against Purple Moon Holy Land. How could he not? The humans had been in a wonderful situation before, yet with Purple Moon Holy Land meddling, it was in danger now. I have several bodies, Boat of Mausoleum and Star Tower, thought Luo Feng. That Purple Moon ancestor should understand that no matter how horrifying the battle is, I'll survive. If he wants to force me to give out the inheritance, it'll be impossible. Why is he against me and humans? Besides, if he really wants the inheritance, he should at least try to negotiate with me. Luo Feng was speculating. Purple Moon Holy Land. They didn't seem to care much about the inheritance from Duandong River, especially Purple Moon ancestor. He didn't seem to desire the Duandong River inheritance very much. Why was he against Luo Feng and the humans? It was baffling, and Luo Feng felt that Purple Moon ancestor must have some other purpose. What does this Purple Moon ancestor want? He's willing to give the inheritance information from ancient civilization to the Freedom Alliance for them to gang up on me and the humans. Luo Feng sensed that there must be many factors unknown to him. Inside the palace, after Shahua Island leader finished talking, he said, I failed you this time. However, Since I obtained some information from you, I won't do anything during this battle. He left after he finished speaking. Luo Feng, Darkness Master, Primal Chaos City Leader, and Peng Gong watched him leave without stopping him. They understood that if they gave Shahua Island Leader the information on how to become Limit Universe Supreme Masters, he might actually help the humans. However, one Universe Supreme Master couldn't change anything. Otherwise, they would have used that to draw Supreme Masters to their side a long time ago. Prepare for the war, said Primal Chaos City Leader. Okay. Luo Feng, Peng Gong Master, and Darkness Master nodded with solemn faces. Inside the palace of the Freedom Alliance, controlled by Shahua Island Leader. Shahua, we wronged you this time. We hope you understand. Brother Shahua, Lightwalker Master brought each of the Universe Masters lots of benefits, which is why we followed him this time. Once the war is over and we get the inheritance, Lightwalker won't have any power to command us anymore. The Alliance Leader of the Freedom Alliance is you. That's right. We support you, Shahua. The Universe Masters on the division of Shahu Island Leader kept consoling him, as they knew he was deeply upset. All right, I understand your reasoning. You didn't do the wrong thing. Shahua Island Leader looked around, and he saw the exit of the palace. He couldn't help sighing. Although these Universe Masters were in his division, they weren't his slaves, which was why they all stayed at the exit to prevent him from going to the humans and turning them over to the humans. They were all at the exit. Once they all utilized their power, and with lots of them having multiple bodies, they could rival 8 or 9 Universe Supreme Masters and burst out of the palace. Shahua Island Leader transmitted his voice. Prepare for the battle. Even though his plan had failed, he didn't want to antagonize them. After all, there were many divisions in the Freedom Alliance, and no powers were willing to bow to another. Nobody could control everyone. He was leading a division and was the only Universe Supreme Master, so other powers were convinced of his reputation. Besides, the other Universe Masters followed Lightwalker Master, because he had the inheritance information given by Purple Moon Ancestor. Once they had the inheritance information, they wouldn't follow Lightwalker Master anymore. After all, many Universe Masters were actually foes of Lightwalker Master. Ha ha ha. Prison Race Devil Ancestor guffawed. I can't believe the humans are so stupid that they even wrong you, Freedom Alliance. Once your alliance cooperates with us, we'll have more than 800 Universe Masters, and more than 10 Universe Supreme Masters, accounting for almost 80% of the top powers in the original universe. Those humans are not our match. They'll definitely lose. That's right, they'll lose. They're nobody. If we attack them all at once, they'll be crushed, and lots of Universe Masters will die. The United Forces Alliance and the Freedom Alliance got close to each other, and transmitted their voices using their godly power. They were all cheerful and confident, of course. More than 800 Universe Masters, and more than 10 Universe Supreme Masters. Nobody could resist such a power in the original universe. Those cowards from the human race. They hide in Star Tower, and we can't hurt them. Encircle them. Encircle Star Tower. That's right, encircle. Encircle Star Tower completely. Once they exit Star Tower, we'll attack them. They won't be able to resist our attacks. Unless they hide in Star Tower forever. If they want to hide in Star Tower forever, we'll encircle and suppress them forever. We only need 1/3 of the Universe Masters and Universe Supreme Masters to guard this place. Then they won't have any power to fight back, and we can take this chance to rob the human territory. Without their territory and trapped forever. Unless they go back to the primal universe. However, without the resources from the original universe, the humans won't have a future, so they'll be a threat no more. In the towering 9-story Star Tower, the true treasure palaces from the United Forces Alliance and the Freedom Alliance floated and started to move. They surrounded Star Tower like a giant oval with Star Tower at the center, enveloping it entirely. More than 800 Universe Masters, and more than 10 Universe Supreme Masters. The Universe Masters and the 3 ancestral gods from the Ancestral God School were all terrified. Such terrific power. The humans don't even stand a chance. They were all panicking. Don't panic, the old ancestral god growled. Even though we of the ancestral god school want to help the humans, we'll be attacked by the hundreds of universe masters if we appear from ancestral god altar. Many of us will die. We must stay in ancestral god altar and defend ourselves. As long as we stay in ancestral god altar, all the material attacks can be neutralized. With the three of us combined, along with the help of the mind of the original universe, any soul attacks can be defended by our blurry godly power. That's right. We don't need to worry about our safety, but we can't help the humans. I think the humans will understand why we do this. The three ancestral gods and the universe masters made up their minds immediately. They all hid in ancestral god altar and didn't appear. Saving their lives was their top priority. After all, it was an alliance of more than 800 universe masters, and more than 10 universe supreme masters. Who dared to resist that? Everyone in Star Tower was worried. The 100+ universe masters staying in Star Tower could see those true treasure palaces surrounding them clearly, as their view outside was unobstructed. Surrender, humans. Give us the inheritance from the ancient civilization. The inheritance to evolve from universe masters to limit universe supreme masters, give it all to us. Once we confirm it, we'll retreat. Otherwise, you humans won't be able to thrive in the original universe anymore. The human territory won't belong to you anymore. Give us the inheritance. Give us the inheritance. The voices spread into Star Tower. The 100+ universe masters in Star Tower, especially universe masters of other races, all panicked. Primal Chaos City Leader, Luo Feng, Darkness Master, Peng Gong Master, Longyang Master, Huang Jian Master. All the universe masters looked around and realized that even if they gave a strict order, those universe masters of other races wouldn't make attacks at the exit. After all, they wouldn't be willing to die. They seek to force us to give out the inheritance. Primal Chaos City Leader looked cold. Only in their dreams. Luo Feng stared outside as well. These races all regarded the humans as a huge threat, but once the humans gave out the inheritance, the bug race, the demon race, the automaton race, and the others would grow more powerful as well, which meant the humans wouldn't be a threat to them in the future, even if they were stronger. The other races had two choices. 1, they could receive the inheritance and retreat. Or 2, they could knock the humans out of the original universe. Both choices were acceptable to the United Forces Alliance. Luo Feng. Primal Chaos City Leader looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng. Darkness Master looked to Luo Feng as well. Milky Way, added Peng Gong. All the human universe masters looked to Luo Feng. They already knew the plan, and they also understood how strong it was. However, under the current circumstances, only Luo Feng's plan was likely to work. This plan involved a gamble that would risk Luo Feng's life. Luo Feng's eyes glinted coldly. Leave it to me. Be careful, Primal Chaos City Leader said, concerned. Don't worry. Luo Feng looked at all the towering true treasure palaces outside. They want to kill me. Though he sounded relaxed, it was an alliance of more than 800 universe masters, and more than 10 universe supreme masters. Larger, larger, larger. Luo Feng's power immediately surged. At the same time, the towering Star Tower became larger. 100 billion kilometers tall, 1 trillion kilometers tall. It kept expanding and growing, and it collided with all the true treasure palaces. 17 palace true treasures from both the Freedom Alliance and the United Forces Alliance surrounded Star Tower that stood erected in the dark and quiet void space. They remained at a distance of around 100 billion kilometers from Star Tower, and Star Tower was originally at a height of 100 billion kilometers and a width of 10 billion kilometers. That meant that it was completely encircled by the 17 palaces and forced to be nailed to its current spot. Hand over the inheritance. Hand over the inheritance. The morale of the United Forces was high and mighty, and they were filled with absolute confidence that they were in an extremely advantageous position. Big, bigger, bigger. Star Tower suddenly expanded and shot from a height of 100 billion kilometers to a height of 1 trillion kilometers. Within a fleeting moment, the base diameter of Star Tower also soared from 10 billion kilometers to 100 billion kilometers. The massive size brought Star Tower crashing into the 17 palace true treasures stationed all around it. The humans are escaping. Be careful. Star Tower suddenly expanded. The humans might be thinking of ways to escape. Stay alert, everyone. Northern Territory, we are going to rely on your ability to keep them captive. They won't be able to escape. Countless star points suddenly appeared out of thin air within the surroundings of the void space, and all of them seemed to be connected by faint rays of light. At that moment, an area encompassing several light years was completely enshrouded by these countless star points. This was the Supreme True Treasure, Shichu Starlight River, a domain-type Supreme True Treasure owned by Northern Territory Alliance Master. Luo Feng stood inside Star Tower and observed how the United Forces Alliance was not bothered at all when the base of the massive Star Tower crashed into them. Apparently, they were worried about any unexpected moves by the humans who had just taken a befuddling course of action. They must have been worried enough for Northern Territory Alliance Master to resort to using his domain-type Supreme True Treasure, Shichu Starlight River. Escape. Luo Feng stared outside and sneered. You all should be the ones wanting to escape. What a pity. There is no escape for you all, even if you try. Endless remote ocean. Attack. Even before Luo Feng manipulated the expansion of Star Tower, he had already begun manipulating his endless remote ocean, preparing those boundless waters behind every side door of Star Tower's base story. The moment Star Tower expanded, with a single intention in mind, the mighty ocean waters of his endless remote ocean would surge out of Star Tower in a frenzied, insane onslaught. All around the bottom story of Star Tower, there was a total of 9 side doors. This base was the entrance to the deep abyss of Star Tower. Everything that was sucked and absorbed into Star Tower would enter through this main entrance. Be careful. The humans may escape. Stay vigilant, keep watch over every single corner. Do not let the humans escape. The United Forces camp was worried that the humans might escape. Suddenly, from all 9 side doors at the base story of the towering Star Tower. At that moment, Star Tower was at a towering height that exceeded 1 trillion kilometers, and the height of every side door was at a few tens of billions of kilometers. Shortly after, the ocean water started gushing out of the 9 side doors wildly. The palace true treasures that were mere inches away from Star Tower, which had already suffered a collision with Star Tower earlier on, were instantly drowned by that insane outburst of ocean water. When the godly body of a universe master expanded, it could reach a height of 1 million kilometers, or even 10 million kilometers in an instant. When a true treasure expanded, its size could reach 10 billion kilometers, or even 100 billion kilometers in an instant, and the rate of all these expansions was not restricted to any limits, such as so-called light speed. Remote ocean was, itself, a godly body. And it was one of Luo Feng's 4 main godly bodies. The new, endless remote ocean body was merely an avatar created by making use of the talent of his remote ocean. The highest peak that this avatar could attain was only up to 1,000 times life gene level, but the true endless remote could attain the perfect gene level of a universe master. The ocean waters surged out, expanded in fleeting moments, especially the deep abyss at the bottom of Star Tower, where a tremendous amount of ocean water rushed out all at once. Bigger, bigger. Luo Feng was trying his best to control it with his consciousness. At that moment, he was urging the remote ocean to expand. In an instant, remote ocean reached a maximum diameter of 300 billion kilometers, with a terrifying depth of 30 billion kilometers. Of course, the actual volume of the remote ocean, at its current level must have actually been 80 billion kilometers, but at that moment, it grew to an extremely massive diameter of 300 billion kilometers. Its godly body had purposefully expanded to a great volume. In only an instant, Star Tower expanded to a height of 1 trillion kilometers, and collided into the 17 palace true treasures. Thereafter, the endless remote ocean suddenly expanded and spread out, thus allowing its godly body to expand a little more. Since it was large to begin with, growing larger, around 10 times its current size, was effortless. What is happening? Why is there ocean water all over the place? What has happened? What is happening? Is this a domain-type true treasure? The United Forces camp was not worried at the moment. They had the ultimate advantage of being a group with strong capability, thus, they were quite confident. Yet the sudden appearance of ocean waters confused them. Was this endless ocean a domain? But Northern Territory Alliance Master had just executed Shichu Starlight River. Theoretically speaking, other domains would not be able to appear. It's not a domain. It's a godly power. Northern Territory Alliance Master replied via voice transmission. That endless ocean and my Shichu Starlight River do not go against one another, so it is not a domain. Besides, I can sense an extremely strong godly power. This endless ocean water should be an endless godly power. It must be something like 9 Remoteness Masters 9 Remoteness Ocean. The entire ocean has a maximum diameter of 300 billion kilometers. Its smallest diameter is 30 billion kilometers. Godly power. Yes, being a little more thorough now, I can feel it too. It is definitely a godly power. Every drop of ocean water is a drop of godly power. Such an endless and massive godly body. Only someone like the ancestral god school's 9 Remoteness Master could possibly own one. 9 Remoteness Ocean. No, this is not the 9 Remoteness Ocean. I know the aura of 9 Remoteness Ocean very well, and I have met with 9 Remoteness Master on several occasions. The aura that this godly power exudes does not belong to this. This is Luo Feng's aura. Shockhorn, what did you say? It's Luo Feng's aura, there is no mistaking this. I have fought him before. I exchanged blows with him. This is the aura of his godly power. Milky Way Luo Feng's godly body. Luo Feng also has a godly body like the 9 Remoteness Ocean. The sudden news dealt a shock to over 800 Universe Masters, and over 10 Universe Supreme Masters. 9 Remoteness Ocean was very well known in the Primal Universe, and 9 Remoteness Master was known to be its sole master. He owned all of it, no one other than him. And 9 Remoteness Ocean was said to be a godly body that was a supreme true treasure, no one could do harm to it. The amount of godly power that its massive godly body swallowed every passing moment far exceeded the godly power absorbed by the entire godly body of any other universe master. Who wouldn't be jealous? However, the restrictions that such a massive godly body would face were apparent, too. Moving about was extremely challenging. 9 Remoteness Master had relied on his talent technique to create his avatar, and this avatar was only 1/10 of his godly power gene level. The volume of his godly body was not out of the ordinary. This caused 9 Remoteness Master to lose out to Primal Chaos City Leader, Star River Master, and some other existences in terms of capability. Luo Feng's maximum combat power is only at 6th tier, as the top level. How can he possess such a massive godly body? That's right. Previously, Luo Feng revealed that he had a golden horned beast body and an earthling body, which both had combat power at 6th tier, as the top level. With such powerful bodies, how is it possible for him to own another godly body similar to 9 Remoteness Ocean? The universe is vast, but such an out-of-this-world occurrence is simply impossible. Besides, the gene level of 9 Remoteness Ocean is extremely high. Golden Horned Beast is just another body created from a talent technique. It would be impossible for it to breed such a formidable body. While the United Forces Alliance was still in shock after learning that this vast ocean was another of Luo Feng's bodies, some universe masters of the other races, who had joined the human camp, were equally taken aback. Hesitate no more, Primal Chaos City Leader ordered via voice transmission. All universe masters will start attacking with concerted efforts. Attack. Primal Chaos City Leader, if the United Forces Alliance retaliates, there is no way we can put up any resistance. True, Primal Chaos City Leader. Obviously, none of the other races were willing to sacrifice themselves. Primal Chaos City Leader's gaze swept the surroundings. Ever so coldly, he said, "Fret not. All their palace true treasures are within remote ocean, and remote ocean is where endless godly powers bind together. Their attacks will be blocked and consumed by the godly power of remote ocean. This is why they will never be able to successfully attack any of you. Meanwhile, on the other hand, you all can attack to your heart's content. Not only will remote ocean not put up any resistance, but it will, on the contrary, join you all in attacking your opponents. What the humans mean to say is, universe masters from the other races, as well as the group of great beings from the ancestral god school, who were an ancestral god altar, which was parked beside Star Tower, also received the same voice transmission. They were all shocked out of their wits. They understood the humans' intentions. They actually intended to allow Luo Feng to depend on this remote ocean, to block all the attacks coming from the entire United Forces camp. Insane. It was beyond insane. Did the humans think they could simply rely on a ridiculously massive godly body to ward off the combined attacks of over 800 Universe Masters, and over 10 Universe Supreme Masters? Too dangerous. This is too dangerous. Luo Feng is as good as courting his doom. The other races found it hard to believe, as this was no different than Luo Feng sending himself to the face of his enemy. Perhaps if this endless remote ocean was pitted against a single opponent, or pitted against 10 opponents, it could proudly stick its nose up at its opponents, and still, no one in the entire primal universe would be able to do anything to it. But this time around, it faced a combination of over 800 Universe Masters. Instantly, over 100 Universe Masters from different races looked toward Luo Feng in his silver armor and silver wings. Everyone, Luo Feng ordered in a low voice, let's not waste time. We shall attack the nearest target. Having said his piece, Luo Feng pointed to the nearest palace true treasure, which was in an environment enveloped by endless ocean water. Whirlpools were starting to appear in the surroundings. These whirlpools parted to give way to a passageway that led deep within the palace true treasure, where Dream Demon, ancestor of the demons, and the troop he led were stationed. There was a total of around 40 Universe Masters inside this palace true treasure. On the human side, adding on the ancestral god school, they had a force of around 200 Universe Masters. Luo Feng, Primal Chaos City Leader, Darkness Master, Pengong Master, and the three great ancestral gods, in particular, were all capable of unleashing extremely strong combat powers. All the humans were brought together to join forces and attack that palace true treasure. Naturally, they were in an advantageous position. The moment the humans made the slightest move, the United Force camp would know their intentions. Northern Territory Alliance Masters' aged voice resounded. The humans are simply insane. They actually think that they can rely on a single remote ocean godly body to stop us all, then concentrate all their combat power to deal with one palace true treasure. They think they can use this method to attack and destroy the palace true treasures one by one. So crazy. Too confident. What arrogance. They think that merely one ocean with godly power is able to resist over 800 Universe Masters, and more than 10 Universe Supreme Masters. All Universe Masters, all Supreme Masters, execute your soul attacks altogether, all of you. Direct them all around that ocean with godly powers. Altogether, as one team, execute your soul attacks. The United Force camp grew wild with emotion and excitement. So many Universe Masters, so many Universe Supreme Masters. With all their soul attacks accumulated, I don't suppose Luo Feng will be able to block off every single attack all by himself. I am going to bring this extraordinary talent to meet his doom. I am going to annihilate him right now. Luo Feng, annihilate. Luo Feng, annihilate. Attack. Northern Territory Alliance Master commanded via voice transmission. This video will end here.